Hello everybody, my name of course is Kashy and welcome back to a brand new Krunker video on the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. I know you're probably wondering what settings I use and what the best settings for Season 5 are. Well, you have found the right video, so thank you so much for clicking on. If any of this is useful to you, I'd appreciate a like and a subscription. If any of this video brings you value, I'd appreciate it. But let's hop straight into the game. Okay, so first things first, I would like to showcase the settings and play a game with them to kind of give you an idea of what settings you are using here. These settings are absolutely amazing for sniper, by the way. These are probably the best sniper settings that you're going to find. Obviously, I'm rocking one of my brand new Season 5 knives that I unboxed. So as you can see, when I ADS, I actually don't zoom in. Now, that is one of the settings that I have. There's a lot of little settings I have that make my game just feel absolutely amazing and just such a blessing to play. These settings have been crafted over about 2 years of me playing Krunker. Every time a new setting would get added, I'd make sure I maximize it to its full potential. Oh, and this thing as well, this dream catcher is absolutely amazing. Let me pick up these wires. And if you're wondering what those wires do that I just picked up, I made a video about the new Season 5 crafting system if you want to check that out. You might notice that my FOV is a little bit lower, and I'll get into explaining why I use low FOV in a little bit here. But there is a reason to why I don't use high FOV. I used to use high FOV on every single game I played until I played Krunker. But as you can tell, these settings are super clean. And I've basically just gone for the settings that is going to allow me to be the most accurate. I've also made, I also don't use any kind of CSS. I like the default look of Krunker. I'm currently not running a mod, but if I do decide to run a mod, then I will probably use Kashy Dank. So these are the sniper settings. You may notice that my gun is in the middle of my screen, and I get asked about that so frequently. The reason that my gun is right in the middle of my screen is basically to help me line up my shots. Old school games like Doom and Quake used to have their weapon models like this, and for some reason I decided to bring it to Krunker, and it works really well. I prefer having it right in the middle because, as I said, it helps me line up my shots a little bit better. But all these settings are going to be preference, so make sure you watch the entire video where I go through my settings, because there are going to be some things that I use that you're going to love, and there are going to be some things that I use that you may want to change a little bit. Wait a second, there's scrap up here? Okay. All right, let's hop into the settings. Not before doing a few spins, though. Give me a Contra, please. F. General settings. All right, so general settings. My network hertz is 144, as I have a 144 hertz refresh rate monitor. My lag compensation is at 0. I do not use auto routing. My mouse flick freeze is not on, neither is my aim freeze fix. I actually use client plus because it gives me the least amount of mouse flicks and honestly is the smoothest client for me. I'll leave a link to that Discord down in the description. Instant rendering is also off. I believe this is a new setting. And that's it for my general settings. All right, so coming into controls here, if you go over to this edit button on the keybind and you come over to chat and toggles, you are essentially able to create your own keybinds. So as you can see here, I have a keybind that when I press P, it toggles my weapon visibility, which basically means when I press P, it either hides or shows my weapon. And this works for no matter what I'm holding. This is just so when I'm playing classes and I don't want to see my primary, I can just press the button and then use the class. My sensitivity is 0.3 for everything. I use 800 DPI as well. I like to play a low sensitivity. I used to play a quite high sensitivity. I believe it was 0.5 or 0.6. And after lowering it to 0.3, not only did I see my aim improve, I also saw my slide hops improve. Now, I don't know if this is a placebo effect, but it generally feels like with a lower sensitivity, I'm able to have more control over my slide hops. Maybe it's just me, but I prefer having it that way. I do not use a controller, and I don't recommend you do either. Okay, moving on to display, my UI scale is at 0.8. It keeps the game nice and clean. Sometimes I'm using a 1 UI scale, but for the most part, I'm using a 0.8 UI scale. Show UI is on. Use old scoreboard off. Essentially, when you have old scoreboard on, the kills will pop up in the chat, and then you'll be able to see the scoreboard in the top right. I actually don't like that. I like to be able to see my kills in the top right, as you can see on the kill feed, and then I can just press tab and see who's in the lobby. That's how I like to use it. Dynamic HP bars is just showing how much HP the person has. I would definitely recommend having that on. Hit indicators I have off. I try to keep my game nice and clean, have as little things as showing as possible. Show damage I also have off, but I do have a pop-up score for after I get the kill. I used to have show damage on, and I believe I had it on yellow. Yeah, so I used to use that quite a lot, and it's kind of useful to see how much damage you do, so maybe I'll play with it again when comp comes out. But as you can see, it just pops up how much damage you do when you shoot someone. Crit color yellow. My damage scale is 0.5, kill feed on, kill counter on, death counter off, KD and score counter off, My streak counter obviously on, although when I'm playing the game, I try not to look at my streak counter because it will make me choke the nuke. Ping off. Now, here's a fun fact for you. If you didn't know this, Krunker actually halves your ping. So if you look up in the top left, you'll see that I have 22, 21 ping. I actually have 42. Krunker just decides to half it. So I don't even bother looking at my ping anymore, to be completely honest with you. If the game feels laggy, then I'll just move to a different server. Show FPS I have on. Show movement speed. Sometimes I will enable this. This basically just shows how fast you're going and what your max speed you hit in that game was. Speed color, yellow. Speed color max, red. Show medals, I have that off because it pops up on the top of the screen and I just don't need to see if I got a speed kill. Name tag display everyone and then name tag display everything. I only have it on everything when I'm trading, really. Most of the time, if I'm not trading, I'll have it say health only. It basically just makes the game look much cleaner. It will show nobody's name tags. It will only show their HP bar. For things like comp, when you have 8 players sliding around the point, it is definitely easier to keep track of people when you only have this on. Let's do another spin. Gift wrap. XP bar I have off. I don't need a bar at the bottom of my screen. I can just press escape and see it up here. Show chat box always. I do not use a profanity filter. Show unboxings I have on. I like to see if someone spins. And crosshair. Okay, so my crosshair link is actually in my Discord. I also have a bunch of other crosshairs and loads of other stuff linked there. Simply, if you want a crosshair, all you have to do is come here, put it on image. So you want to go to my Discord, link in description, go to settings, and then you should see that my crosshair's here. All you have to do is right click, open link, and then copy this link up here. Go back into Krunker, go to your crosshair, press Control and then V, or Command and V if you're on Mac, you weirdo. Press enter, and then you have your crosshair. It looks like they actually added image width and image height, which is actually a really nice feature because the only way you used to be able to change the size of your crosshair was by changing your UI scale. So I'm definitely going to make the most of that. This setting here is very important if you want this scoped, non-scoped look when you're playing sniper. So you want to make sure you enable always show crosshair. Okay, I'm now editing the video and I'm an absolute idiot. I forgot to include one of the most important settings, which is ADS power, which is on 0, which is essentially all you need to do to have the no scope setting where it doesn't aim you in when you zoom in. Okay, back to the video. Hit marker, I do not have on at the moment. It just got in the way and I didn't need it. I can see when the player dies, but when I did have it on, it was white when I shot and red when they died. Let's just see here. Oh, this is a teammate. Hello, man. There you go. It's Krunker. Enjoy. And that's it for the display settings. Moving on to render. So let's see what we have here. My resolution is at 1. I wouldn't recommend you make your resolution any higher than this. There is almost no point. So this is what my game looks like on 1 resolution. And then this is what my game looks like on 2 resolution. And you even tell the difference? No, but it tanks your FPS. Why has my KR gone down to 1? I just had 20,000. What? Oh, thank God it's back. I was going to say. Okay, render settings. Frame cap, 0. I don't want to have a frame cap. But if I am going to set a frame cap, I'm going to use the NVIDIA panel so that I can actually cap it properly. If you cap your FPS here, it will basically have it just under that FPS and it will fluctuate too much. So if you want a stable FPS, use a different program like NVIDIA to cap it. Aspect ratio is native to my monitor, 1920 by 1080. Anti-aliasing I have on. Now, a lot of these render settings I will have on because I'm a content creator and I would like to make sure that my game looks as best as possible when I'm recording and streaming. So a lot of these settings you can disable. I'll explain what most of them are so you can make up your mind for yourself. But if you want high FPS, then a lot of these render settings should go down. Low spec, no textures and map details are all off. I absolutely hate having map details on. Grass is just so annoying. Low spec just makes it so that you can't see the player's legs. I used to have this enabled because I thought that it helped me hit heads, and I feel like maybe it does, but I switched off of it after a while. Particle distance 1000, render distance 100, reflection quality map dependent. I should probably put this on something else. Shadows are on, soft shadows are on. Now, if you can afford to take the FPS dip, I would really recommend enabling shadows and soft shadows. I might even enable high res shadows because basically shadows can help you see players before they actually come around the corner. There are some points in certain maps where you will be able to see the player's shadow before you see the player, so it gives you even more time to react to them before they even know that you're there. Definitely a good advantage to have. Bullet trails I usually have on. Ambient shadings on 1. Bullet trails I have on so I can see what way people are firing from. So if I see bullets flying from the right, then I know there's a guy to the right. And then I have my trails off so I don't get them confused with other people's shots. Muzzle flash off. I do not need that. Sniper flap off. I definitely don't need that. Texture animations I would definitely recommend having on if you have any interest in skins whatsoever. Object animations also on. Screen share, shake, turn that off. You don't need screen shake. Ah! My lighting's on high and show explosions are on. Post-processing, I have on. Bloom, I have turned off because I haven't really found the right settings to use bloom with. But if you turn it on, it can make your game look beautiful. HUD health is on purple. When I'm low on HP, it's red. Speed lines, I used to have on. Basically, when you're slide hopping at a fast speed, you'll get some anime lines on your screen, as you can see right here. And the faster you go, the stronger that the anime lines become. It was a cool addition when it got added, and I definitely used it for a while, but it did get a little bit annoying. So for me, I turn it off. Pop-up score, I definitely like to have on so I can see how many points I'm getting per kill, and that is yellow, so it stands out. I don't have a shadow on it. Pop-up score is 0.9. Offset is 5.2. Offset Y is 4. Progress bar shadow, I don't even know what that is. Charge bar, if you really care, you can change the way that your knife charges up. I don't care. They have one of these settings here. Oh wow, you see around my game now, it's like dark in the corners. That's interesting. Saturation, I have on 2.4 in game. That's how my game is so bloody bright. Also using my mod definitely helps with that. If you look at my game now, this is default Krunker and this is Kashy Dank. You can just see how much more vibrant the game gets. And that is all the render settings we have to go through. We have 2 things left. Well, actually 3 things left. Ooh, I'll tell you about the 3rd when we get there. Moving into game settings, I don't use streamer mode. I don't use anonymous mode. I have all my badges shown. Okay, view model settings. Let's have talk. My field of view is on 80. Now, yes, that's very low. Yes, I know what you're going to say. Well, I don't want to play that. It's gross. Well, for me, playing Revolver recently, 80 has been what I've been playing the past month. I was on 90 for the longest time. The reason for this is to counteract bullet warping. When you're playing on a high FOV, it is going to warp your screen so that you're not going to be as accurate as you could be, and your bullets are going to basically feel like they're flying through people's heads when they shouldn't be. Frosty Wolf made an amazing video on this, so if you want to learn more about bullet warping, go check that video out. But basically, you want to be using an FOV lower than 100, preferably 90. Weapon FOV is at 85. That hasn't changed since the day I started playing Krunker. Weapon bobbing's at 1. Weapon leanings at 0.2. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. How my gun is in the middle of my screen like this? Well, let me tell you. The secret is weapon offset. My X offset is 0.1. My Y offset is 2. My Z offset is 1.1. And that's how you do it. Your gun will be in the middle of the screen. Toggle weapon ADS. You don't want that on. Weapon aim animation. Basically, it just zooms in your gun instead of just removing it like this. As you can see, I had it on earlier. Show hands on, show primary on, show secondary on, show melee. I'm not left-handed, and if you use rounded arms, you're going to be cursed forever. Load mods on, auto load mod off for now because I've been playing default Krunker recently, but if you want your mod pack to stay, then enable it. Scope borders, again, this is something that you really need to use if you want the same sniper settings as me. Make sure that your scope borders are off. You do not want black borders around your scope. Not useful at all. Endgame message is subscribe to Krunky's M1, and I'd really appreciate if yours was as well, because I'm pushing for 100k on that channel. And that's pretty much it for game settings. I don't use any special icons or anything except for damage overlay. So basically, damage overlay is the thing that pops up on your screen when you take damage. That is also in my Discord where my crosshair is. So this is my damage overlay. As you can see, there are Pepes popping up on the screen. Very, very minimal, but a little bit funny. And almost finally, we have sound. My master volume is 0.4. My ambient volume is on 0. Obviously, my microphone is the HyperX Quadcast. My mic volume's max so that everybody can hear me. I have voice volume on 0, but when I want to hear people in the game, I obviously turn it on. Weapon volume 0.3. Player volume 1 so that I can hear people walk about. That's why this is above every other sound setting, because that's what I want to be able to hear the most. Cosmetics volume is on 0.2. UI volume on 4. Asset volume on 1. And that is it for the default Krunker settings themselves. One more thing I'd like to very quickly cover is I am playing on Client++. As I said, I'd leave the link to the Discord in the description. You can come over here and press this client button, and then you get some new exciting settings. So for here, I use unlimited FPS, full screen mode, Discord RPC, window capture, shadow play. I don't use developer mode. I don't use blur fix, and I have my sky color automatically set to light blue to make my game look beautiful and vibrant for your eyes. All right, that's it. That's the best Krunker settings of Season 5. Hey, that video over there looks really cool. You should click it. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you don't forget to subscribe because I'm pumping out Krunker content so fast right now. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.